Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
I'm here. Happy Motivational Monday, y'all. Come on in. Whoop. We're live in the hood. Who's with me? Come on down. There's my girl Yvonne. She's got her pinkies up in the hood. Speaking of which, from Whittier, California. That's my old hometown. Hey everybody, come on in. Hi Melissa, good to see you. Yes indeed. And they're coming on in. There's my girl Doris. Hello Doris. Hello Anna, good morning to you. Good afternoon for the rest of you who are here on the East Coast. Jenny's here, so's Helen. So's Patsy, yay. And there's my girl Jackie, come on in. Come on in, the water's fine. So there's my girl Sarah. Happy Monday to you. We're going to be talking about the power of decision today. I wanted to share a book that I'm reading and give you a whole bunch of other stuff. There's Amber, Andrea, good to see you. Good to see you. And good to see everybody. You know, I love Mondays. I've always said that to you. It is always a fresh start. It's a fresh start. We're in the midst of our Stay Strong, Be Strong challenge going on right now. Right now. You know, you can jump in where you are, but if you want to find out about that, you can go to savingdinner.com/strong. This is all about that challenge. It's free. We have a whole printout and everything for you so that you can get right into it. I demonstrate every single one of these different strength training exercises for you. The only thing you need are some bands and some pulls, cheap on Amazon. Where do you see it? It's great stuff. And it's free. We give you all kinds of stuff to download. That'll take you to the webinar page where you can watch all about it if you're wondering what that's all about. The other thing is, my goodness, we are in the middle of our Black Friday sale and it is popping. Can I just tell you, we had to order more. You guys are blowing us away, and we are sending out years' supplies of supplements to some of you. And I just say that's brilliant because you're getting them for 50% off if you're doing that. You can find out more about our Black Friday sale. It ends on Wednesday, by the way, so you want to get in on it. We are going to just keep ordering. If you know, there are no back orders. We're just going to keep going until it's done. But I'm going to tell you what. This is the lowest price of the year right now, just till Wednesday. So take advantage of it. You can completely stock up. Go to savingdinner.com/Friday. Get all the information about it. That's what we have. Somebody's at the door. Who is it? We still do have Sleepies, by the way, as our supplement of the week. That's good till Wednesday as well. Buy 3, put the 4th one in your cart for you for absolutely free. Or you can do it Black Friday way. Any way you want to do it. It's up to you. You can find out about those supplements at savingdinner.com/show. Strong suggestion though, just skip this supplement of the week and go straight for the Black Friday sale. We are sending out more than enough of these cups. Let me just tell you, these cups are flying out the door. Jenny and I are going to get in on making a new one because everybody loves our little Pinkies Up cups, don't they? It's so much fun. So I hope everybody's doing well on Monday. Here's our quote of the week, which I love a good quote, don't you? This one is great. Conviction and convenience don't live on the same block. This is Lisa Nichols' grandmother who said that. What a fantastic thing. What a fantastic thing that is. Sarah is asking if Wednesday's the last daily dish. No. You know how I am. I'll show up to say Happy Thanksgiving. You know I will. And that's probably pretty much going to be it for that. And then I'll show up on Friday as well. But our Black Friday sale ends on Wednesday. We still have stuff going on. But this one, we have to look at how we get convicted and then how we lose our conviction once we realize it's not convenient. Boom, right? Right to the heart. Got me. That's true, because we expect that. We expect everything to be easy. We have a microwave mentality about everything sometimes. And what that does is it puts us behind the 8 ball, and it puts us into the place of being disempowered. And disempowerment does nothing for us. It just slows the machine down. The machine meaning your life, my life, everybody's life, and we feel crappy. Yeah, doesn't work. We've discovered that. We know what that's all about. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit today. And the other thing is, if you sign up for the show notes, that means you go to saveydinner.com and just sign up for our emails. You will get the show notes every day after. So we've been getting so many people saying, thank you for the show notes, because it helps to reinforce things that you're already thinking about. And it gives you the alignment assignment right in the email itself. So if you like that, just make sure you go to saveydinner.com. You'll get a pop-up. I know they're annoying, but do it anyway. Put your name in there, and we will get you on the email list, start sending you the show notes. You also get notified about special deals, and you get recipes, and you get so many good stuff. So many good things. I'm seeing all these little people saying, Sleepy's works, Sleepy's works. Are you kidding? Sleepy's is like my savior. It has gone. I used to get up 2-3 times a night because I'd get hot or whatever, and I'd get up and I'm, stumbling in the middle of the night. I get up once now, one time. That's a big, big, big shift and a big change. And the other thing, somebody else was telling me that melatonin gives them nightmares, which it can, because the problem is people put too much melatonin in their supplements. We think we need more. Well, we need less. A little bit will trigger and cause your own circadian clock to get back into shape. And Sleepy's is just amazing. If you haven't tried it, all I can say is this beats the pants off of anything I've ever tried before, and I've done them all of them. Also, I wanted to tell, somebody was asking me, they Facebook messaged me and was asking me about my skin, which is sweet. Thank you for that. We did a skincare webinar that you can find out all about this. And I'm going to just offer that to you if you want to go in there. I don't know. They said they watch the show on a regular basis, but I'm all about pretty skin because, man, I've been in the trenches with bad skin. I had rosacea skin, and it was pretty bad. You can see it, by the way. You can see me in my full glow, pink face. With rosacea, when it was healing up, it wasn't even quite as bad. It's on our Perfect Paleo Protein page. It's all there in all its glory. But anyway, yeah, you can get good skin again. You don't give up on anything, ever give up. We don't give up. We're like, Winston Churchill's, never, ever, 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 and however many evers there are, give up. I've been reading about him lately. He's just fascinating. His historical figure of the reason really World War II ended the way it did is because of him. So anyway, we have to look at all these things, because this is the stuff that makes us who we are. When we believe that we can get past something, when we believe and see something for what's going on and know that there's a solution, then we're going to keep going until we find that solution, aren't we? We don't give up. We don't give up. Wise women never give up. Wise women never quit on themselves. Wise women say don't ever say it's too hard. Wise women just say they haven't found their way yet, but they will. That's what wise women do. And I have to say, for me, this is the whole way that I have lived my life. It's so interesting because I was in going through, because I'm packing and getting ready for our big move in January. It's not going to be till, the first week in January, but You know, if you start packing now, it's not going to be the big, awful thing that it is. And I'm going to try to keep, you know, my office as much intact as possible so it doesn't sound like an echo chamber. But, you know, it's so interesting that, you know, when we're going through all of this stuff and doing things little by little and trying to figure out and correct things as we go, we find out a little bit about ourselves. And I have found all these old journals of mine and reading in them and seeing words, my own words, going through and saying, I am going to do this, I am doing this, I am doing that. And I didn't put it into place. That's what I see. I didn't put a lot of these things into place. This is 2, 3, 4 years ago that I'm reading in my journals. And a year later, it's the same thing in there. A year later, it's another thing in there. A year later, it's said a little bit differently. But you know what is interesting? Is that because I never quit on myself, because I stayed the course, because I believed that there was a way and that I found all my Edison moments of ways that didn't work, I was able to get this place, get myself into that place. I was able to get myself to that discovery of the hot melt sprint and putting that all together. And you know how it started? I just cleared the whole decks and said, okay, this stuff is just not working. Because I wrote part-time paleo, you know, how to go paleo without going crazy. I've written all of low carb books. I've written all of this stuff. And how many programs have I written? How many recipes have I written? I've been through all of this. And why was all of this hanging me up? And it was when I discovered just clear it out and start over. What do we know to be true? That's what I started with. And this is what I'm going to be talking about today. What do we know to be true? What do we know to be true about ourselves? What do we know to be true about our world, our families, our friends, our community? What do we know to be true? What we have to do, oftentimes, is clear the deck and start over and just start from the first thing. Because I've found that if we go back and just start repeating the same thing over and over again and start saying something, some belief that doesn't exactly match with where we are today, we are out of alignment. Our beliefs need to necessarily line up with the choices and the decisions that we make in our lives. We've talked about that endlessly. But you know what's the interesting thing is that, you know, I've talked to you about this before, is that your brain does not know the difference between reality and your imagination. We've talked about how a piano player can think about playing a piano in his mind versus another piano player can be playing the piano, both of them having a brain scan and both of their brains doing exactly the same thing. It didn't matter that one of them wasn't sitting down at the piano playing the piano. It's our brain. And we keep coming back to that because the brain is central. If we can get our brain on board, we can do anything on God's green earth. Anything. Anything. Because that shows us, that gives us the ability to make a choice that is going to take us to the place where our brain is checked in and says, okay, I'm with you, and let's go do it together. That's that momentum that you get going. That's that great big push. But the power of decision is first. The power of decision. And when we understand that decision making is really, in essence, just making choices. Or if you want to look at it the other way, making a choice is actually making a decision. When we see it in how big that statement is and how much impact that statement can have on our lives, our choices become a little bit different because we understand that decision making can determine our destiny. You know, we've talked endlessly about Robin Sharma's wonderful quote that what you think about expands, what you dwell upon becomes your destiny, because all of these things, what you're thinking about, that's a decision. What you're dwelling upon, that's a decision as well. And when we understand that that is where our energy is going, that's where the full impact of all the things are going into that direction. If we find ourselves in that place of negativity, if we find ourselves in that place of thinking about all the wrong things, bad stuff that happened in the past, reliving things over and over again that just don't bring us up to that level of feeling good about ourselves and making good decisions and going forward, And we get caught. And we get caught in that continual life cycle, the treadmill of bad decisions. Because this is the whole thing. Raymond Charles Parker, who wrote this book, it's an old one. It's called The Power of Decision. It was written in 1968. And let me tell you, it is a dry read. It's a dry read. But he's the one who came up with this whole thing about how your choices are really just mini decisions. And that we make enough choices like that we are making decisions on how our life should go. And we talked about this last week, that where we are in our life is where we've decided to be in our lives. Where we are right now, whether we're happy with it, whether we're happy with the state of our health, our weight, our mindset, our family life, or whatever, that's a decision that we've made. That's a decision that we've made to be here in this place right now. And when we understand that, we get rid of the victim mentality, we get rid of this idea that it's everybody else's fault, we get rid of all these things so that we don't have to go to this place of making decisions anymore that are going to affect us like that. We don't have to. We understand the difference between this decision and the fact of what's going on in our life is something that we basically created along the way. We've talked about how our lives are here and how our goals are there, and that there's a bridge that needs to be built. We've talked about how we are the bridge builders and necessarily need to be doing that. We can have the materials, we can have all the things that we need to go, we just need to put in the work to get there. We've talked about that so much. But what I want to really talk about is looking at the difference, and I'm going to give you homework because I think this is going to be a powerful exercise for you. And that is to make I've talked about pro-con lists. Well, this is going to be a decision versus a decision versus a belief list. Okay? A decision versus a belief list. Because I want you to hear the difference between, and I wrote these down, this is in one of my journals, here we are again. When you say I believe, that's just saying, that is espousing a belief that you have about yourself. Well, I believe that that's enough. I believe that, the mountains are beautiful in North Carolina in the fall. I believe I can overcome this challenge that is coming my way. I believe all these things. Well, that sounds really strong, right? When you take it over to the side of decision, it sounds even stronger. How about this? I have decided that the mountains in North Carolina are the most beautiful mountains around. I have decided that I can get through this no problem. I have decided that I am going to take this all the way, no matter what comes my way. Can you hear the difference in just the difference between I believe and I have decided? When you're talking about belief, what I believe, you're talking about beliefs that can or cannot change, that may or may not change, that might evolve during time or may get rid of at some point. Because hasn't that happened before? Have you ever noticed that you just don't believe certain things anymore? You get rid of them? Well, yeah, that happens all the time. But when you say I've decided, that takes on a whole different meaning, because that is, you've just struck gold. You've put a stake in the ground and said, that's it. I have made a decision. And then there's a finality to it. There's a no commas, no dots. There's a period at the end of that sentence. I have decided. And it just creates now a whole new paradigm of the way you look at it. It shifts the inside. So we all have beliefs about ourselves, about what it is that we're good at, what we're not good at, whatever. I want you to take, this is your alignment assignment, and also, kind of what we're doing today without, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this is a big deal. And I think this is something that's going to make a bing thing go off in your head, because this is for everything. I have decided I'm a good spouse. I've decided I'm an excellent mother. Instead of I believe I'm an excellent mother, and we're always teetering on the edge of just catastrophe, right? Because motherhood is not easy. Parenting is not easy. It's not for wimps. Come on. But you know, when we make a decision that we are good parents, I wish I'd known this when my kids were growing up. It would have changed so much of how I thought of myself, because I was always saying to myself, oh my gosh, wondering, am I a decent parent? Am I a terrible mother? You know, all the time I was worried about all these things. But when you say, I have decided, then that means you have. That means that your path is straight. That means you're on the bridge and you are constructing that bridge. You know, you've got the wood out, you've got the hammer out, you've got the nails. You are creating your path to that vision because you've made a decision, and that's pretty solid. Versus, I believe, and you're wavering. Well, today you believe, tomorrow you don't. Have you noticed that's the difference? So when we can get to the place of flipping that and going from I believe, which sounds pretty intense, to I've decided, which is a finality there. It's a big time. Not to say that your decisions can never change, but there's just a definition of an underline, bolding, italics, exclamation points, all of that. It just shifts the way that we think. We have to look at it. A decision has finality to it. It has power. It has inevitability as well. All of your power is in your decisions. And when beliefs become decisions, you tap into an extraordinary capacity to make rapid change in who you are and what you want to create. This is from my friend David Bear. He's brilliant. And he's the one who brought me into this whole place of understanding how important it is to flip beliefs into decisions. And at that point, when you're doing all this work, you're going to see beliefs that no longer serve you, that you're not going to want to make into decisions, but you're going to instead want to shift your belief and then turn it into now making a better decision. You see where I'm going with all of this? This is really important because the power of language is transformative. And how you make these declarations in your life is transformative. They're manifestos. Have you seen anybody read the Declaration of Independence? That's a manifesto. We the people. You can hear the fists going down on the table. We the people. We're done with you, British. Out of here. We've got this. This is our country. No offense to anybody who's from the UK, but you know, that was back then. There were some things going on. What can I tell you? But your decisions dictate the path that you're going to take in your life. Those are your decisions. And your beliefs, if they're wobbly, are not going to become decisions. This is why this is an important exercise. This is what sets us up for making goals. This is what sets us up for following through. And this is what makes it so that we choose the easier pain, the pain of following through, instead of the pain of regret later. I found that the pain of regret for later is based on a lot of wobbly beliefs. It's not based on decisions. It's based on a lot of wobbly beliefs. Well, I can do this later. Well, not this week, not this Monday, not this month, not this year, after the holidays, whatever. But now is when decision making happens. Now is when decisions are pivoting on your beliefs. And if the beliefs are solid, you can make good decisions. If your beliefs aren't solid, your decisions are going to be flimsy too. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that because this is what we want to do. One of the other things that I love is that David Bear says, if you're thinking something that doesn't feel good, it's not true. Now, that's a tough one because I think that there's a lot of times that we have times where we feel bad because we're thinking about something that happened in the past. We're thinking about something, you know, I don't think it's unintelligent to be thinking about my mom who passed and he says, well, you know, this kind of suffering is all unintelligent thinking. Not necessarily, but there's a lot of unintelligent thinking associated with thinking poor things, having poor belief system. You know what I'm talking about. And you know what it is too when we get into that treadmill of thought and it just keeps circling and circling and circling because it gets us stuck. We don't go anywhere. Do Do you remember watching the Jetsons? And, you know, he gets on, I can't remember the main character's name. Of course I can't. But it's meet George Jetson. There you go. George gets on with Astro the dog, and they're on a treadmill. And then all of a sudden, you know, he's not paying attention. They get caught and they're going around and around in the treadmill. You remember that? That's how our lives feel sometimes, where you're just caught in this whole negative loop, going absolutely nowhere and kind of panicking too, because it feels really bad. But we need to understand that when we suffer, we need to look back and say, why are we making this decision to suffer? Is it based on a poor belief system, or is it based on taking a bad decision? Making a bad decision from a shaky belief system. Because our decisions can get really solid when we start to really focus and get precise on what our decisions are and how we want them to. His boy, Elroy. Thank you, Jeanette. I'm glad we have some Jetson fans here. But how you want them to direct your path. Because they do. They are the directors. Those decisions direct how we think about ourselves, how we think about our environment, the people around us, and the choices that we're making, the decisions to go forward. So the moment of transformation is when you become aware that this kind of thinking, this kind of, you know, past tense thinking just doesn't work for you anymore. When you make a decision that you want to get off of that horrible treadmill, and when you make that decision, that's the moment of transformation. That's when you jump from over here to a belief that no longer works into a place of making a decision, flipping the belief, and making decisions that now create that pathway. Because if we don't have a pathway, what are we going to do? You know, just keep doing the same thing over and over again? We know what that is, right? We know what that is. That is the definition of insanity. So I just want to invite you into this place of really grasping this whole concept of your decisions being based on solid beliefs and not the disempowering beliefs that have never helped you out before. And making sure that when you turn around and you say, I believe, that you can turn around and say, I've decided to, based on that belief, because it's that strong. That's where we get our motivation. That's where the momentum comes from. Not from this stuff that's wibbly wobbly and has never helped us out before. And that's what I'm saying. When we understand that and we can start really getting rid of and kneecapping all of those flimsy beliefs that have never, ever helped us out in our lives and start going for the things that are absolute decisions and start strongly saying, I've made a decision. Because, you know, think about it this way. When the judge comes back into the chambers, you know, and says, I've made a decision, or the jury comes back from a trial, you know, they're there to weigh and measure and listen to all the arguments for or against and create a belief system based on everything that they've heard. We do this all of our lives, all of it. So we want to get to the place now of making very strong choices that are indeed our decisions, and they're based on beliefs that are strong and can stand on their own. Because instead of saying, I believe, we're going to flip it and say, I've decided. I've made a decision. And as we do this, we can watch these little beliefs, new, fresh ones maybe, new, empowering beliefs, grow up and become those keystones, those cornerstones of our lives, so that we can keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. No more of that whimsy, wibbly, wobbly, timey-wimey, you know, all the stuff that just falls apart that we spend so much time on. Let's all admit it, we do. Instead, if we can move into this place of seeing that this works, this doesn't, this works, this doesn't, and now across the page, we're putting, I have decided. Suddenly there's a real strength, and you can make your own principles of power there. Like, I have decided. These are Leanne's I have decided principles of power, because they are powerful. and they completely flip the way you do things. They completely flip the way you see things, and everybody gets out of your way and you get onto it. No more victimhood, no more comparison, no more of the same old, same old. There's a clear path, and it's very, very important that we do this work so that we can get to this place of creating a new moment of transformation. Decisions, because they're that powerful. That's all I got for you today. I'm gonna get back to it. Hey, listen, Jenny and I are dirty fasting Monday and Wednesday in the Hot Milk Sprint group. If you're interested, that's today. We're doing it today. If you're interested, say, hey, count me in. I'm doing it too. If you don't know what a dirty fast is, well, you're in the right place. You just go to the Hot Milk Sprint group on Facebook and we'll get you all hooked up. All kinds of stuff there. Peace be with you. I certainly appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for making our Friday sales, our Black Friday, our pre-Black Friday sales so successful. We will take care of each and every one of you. I promise you that. So make sure that you're taking advantage of these sales. You will not see this, up to 50% off. Go to savingdinner.com/Friday. There you'll find all the details there. You're the best. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.